I was experimenting with my build last night. I got it. I'm semi-comfortable with this build, but it's still in experimentation mode. There's a couple points that are still like possible to swap around. Mario Star Power Wand, dude. It's a melee weapon, and it's the red text is the wand chooses the wizard. I have it enchanted on spellcast, increased damage dealt by 15% for 10 seconds. I get 10% critical chance, 15% critical damage, 10% status effect. It's fire. But here's the kicker, dude. It's got Spellblade, so melee attacks deal spell damage instead of melee damage. Melee attacks increase spell critical chance by 80% for 6 seconds. So this is like a spell build, right? So if I just throw like a melee in here and there, then I get those procs from it, and it does the spell damage. And then it also has amped, so the next 3 gunshots will be 50% amped or whatever for the next 10 seconds. This is what people should be talking about. This is a badass melee weapon for a spellcaster. And I'm running a fragment rain. So this throws out it explodes on impact and then creates a Hydra. And so the way that this build is, since I'm spellshot graveborn, I have faithful thralls. So for every companion that I have, I get more percentage stack of damage dealt. So as long as I'm throwing out hydras everywhere all the time, then that's always proccing up and I'm always getting more damage. But then I'm also running the kill skill at max. So anytime this is triggered, it summons a dark hydra, which is a different count than the ones from the gun. And those ones will so you can count them together, you can do them at the same time. And these things proc on spellcast because I went all the way down the tree. Casting a spell automatically activates all the Fate Maker's kill skills, and this is a kill skill that gets triggered. So every time I'm casting, I'm summoning one of these. Most of the time, it's like 60% chance, but majority of the time it procs pretty on cue. This is where it gets a little experimental. I put one in the blast gas just to see how much it like triggers, and I put one in this just for the health. One of these are probably going to end up here back in harvest. If this doesn't seem to be doing damage for me, then it's going to go back into harvest. I went with this for the damage and reduction, and because I also have another class mod that if I want to swap out, it's a death list, so I could literally get the full buff from this if I wanted to. But I'm also running glass cannon, so I'm only getting shield when I'm casting spells. So if I get to a point where I can't like cast, then I have like no regeneration other than like dark magic. Oh, and the other kill skills I'm running are like spell cooldown rate and let's see, the companion damage and the companions, and the spell damage one is maxed. So by this triggering that and all those, I'm keeping those buffs up like as much as I can. You know, running max spell weaving stacks and the mage armor, the glass cannon, spell cooldown and action cooldown, and the crit. I took it all out of reload because like I'm really not, this isn't a gun build, I'm really just throwing companions out most of the time. And I went with the bullets because without this extra gun damage, like it felt really hard to kill stuff in between spells. So I kept the the gun damage bonus that it gets for spell damage. Yeah, running Amber Hextress. It's pretty simple build, easy to switch around. Couple points, you could change it up. I didn't go for the dark magic efficiency. I'm not exactly sure how it works, but I'm under the impression that it's like a lifesteal or like a life leech. And so keeping that, you know, I'd rather take all the damage than taking that. So for class mod, I'm running Warlock Selective Amnesia of Untamed Potential, and I got pretty good roll on it. You know, I got 30% ward regeneration rate, but there's the kicker is I got the 15% all damage dealt and the 25% spell damage. And then the extra bonus is after taking non-status effect damage, apply a fire status effect to the Fate Maker, increase movement speed, and leave a trail for 3 seconds. While this effect is active, damage dealt is increased by movement speed. So this is that one that I was talking about, it procs, and then I'll get a movement speed buff and stuff, but if I stand still, like I'm standing in fire, right? So I have to like constantly be moving to leave that trail all over the place, or like be kiting backwards, so whatever is coming at me is walking into the puddles. I have pretty boss ring, focus championship ring of the chorus. It's giving me 30% spell critical hit chance, and dealing damage to a boss increases effects by 100% for a moderate amount of time. You know, and then another 15% gun damage with the thank you for making red text. Like this is a pretty boss ring. My other ring is pretty much just spell damage, dark magic efficiency, spell critical hit chance, and like pistol. I have swapped out my necklace just because this is loot luck on it, and I've been trying to farm stuff, so I've just been wearing it for the loot luck. Otherwise, you know, I could rock the spellshot power with frost damage, gun magazine size, and like if I'm going hard, this is the one I'll be wearing, but if I'm just trying to farm stuff, you know, I'll wear the loot luck one. So yeah, but as those weapons, the fragment rain, it's in ice element, and then so it drops the hydras. Then I'm also running the heirloom. Wait. Oh, I think I actually swapped out the wrong gun. This is not supposed to be the one in here. I got a Fear Not. This one drops the multi-headed Hydra companions. So when this throws down, it's got the multiple Hydras. So I just throw a bunch of those. And this one does the Dagger Storm. So I kept this just to kind of like hone in around on stuff and do whatever. Enchants I'm running after reloading gain 35% companion critical hit chance, and companions regenerate 6% of their maximum health. That's more to just buff the gun and the build itself. You know, let's see, spellcast, increase dark magic. Spellcast, increase all damage dealt by 15% for 10 seconds. On the shield, we got spellcast, increase elemental damage 14%. I'm currently wearing a last gap. That's it for enchants. So the spells I'm running though, dude, I got the surging frozen orb, and it's just like a giant ball of ice power. It's got 2 charges. I got the enchant on there. After casting a spell, your gun and melee attacks have 30% critical hit chance for a short duration. Man, you came a long way for my orb. Is the red text. Yeah, this is pretty powerful stuff right here. And the other one I'm running is a chaotic legendary arcane bolt. It's in dark magic. From thine fingertippers comes doom is the red text. On spellcast, increased damage dealt for 15%. That is kind of stacked with the melee, so I might change that, but I don't think I can re-roll this one anymore, so we'll see what happens. It also has like after scoring a critical hit with this spell, a portion of its cooldown is refunded. So every time I hit a crit with this, it kills the cooldown. So it might not have a lot of charges, but it's usually critting every time it hits because it hits really hard. It's like a little one shot. So it does have like a rather short cooldown. So I'll use this one as like the big room clear, and then just come in and hit them with this to clean it up, or snipe ones that are you know, solo or whatever.
Presto! Reloading. Patience, friend. Patience.
See it crit, so it's like it's already off cooldown.
Ooh, my spell slots are all tingly. Descend into dark.
So like it's good to have like a big spell that hits hard, but at the same time it's also really beneficial to have a spell that has multiple charges or one that has a really short cooldown, so that I always have like a spell to cast. So that way I'm always like getting charges up and building that power up. There are a few other spells that I like to swap out for fun. But these two right now are just kind of been like the ice usually, you know, freezes them, gets them to slow down. The fire, as they're running into the fire, they're taking the fire damage. You know, I'm usually more persistent on dropping my companions and getting that damage buff up, and then throwing a spell and hit him with the finisher. Now see, I didn't get the hit, so I didn't get the crit, so that spell has a 3-second cooldown. It's still not that much, but, you know, it's a noticeable difference from practically instant. Just saved my ass right there. Look at that dude. Just pop stuff.
Stop. This is by no means over. Fall! You should have learned by now. Healing to be had. Stop beyond.
But see, so this is how it works, you know, I get the movement speed in the fire, so I just keep like back kiting them. And they're walking into the fire, getting massive spells to the face, and I just keep killing them off. Boom. Deleted that boss guy. He thought he was gonna pull me in. Took a spell to the face, dead.
From beyond the veil to my side. These hands are ready for blast. I can cast no more.
Damn. You don't play Fortnite.
Ooh, this might actually be good for this build, dude.
Strong possibility.